Chicago again having trouble with Cleveland. We'll have highlights and the NBA All-Rookie team next on the Prudential Halftime Report.
The Prudential, going above and beyond to meet your needs in insurance and other financial services.
Michael Jackson says he only feels comfortable when he's on stage. Well, the same could be said of Michael Jordan, who's at his best when he's on center stage in the playoffs. A great playoff so far, but Cleveland is hanging tough. Mark Price had 31 points in the last meeting. Hits from the outside right here with a three-pointer. Cleveland takes the early lead. Jordan, however, came up with 22 first-half points. In the lane, a nice hook shot around the corner and in, giving the Chicago Bulls a quick lead. But Cleveland came right back. Larry Nance to Ron Harper, who drives the lane. Uncontested, Cleveland back in front. Nance, again, this time keeps it. He had 10 points in the first half. And he also played great defensively. Watch him block the shot by Jordan. And Cleveland off and running. Mark Price from the outside, he hits. And right now, Chicago in trouble. Cleveland up by 12. Should Cleveland win this ball game, they would, of course, be forced to Game 5. Later tonight, the Denver Nuggets will try to eliminate the Seattle Supersonics. The Nuggets may be without guard Fat Lever. He is bothered by a sprained knee. We'll be back with another doubleheader tomorrow night. The New York Knicks received a career-high 34 points from Johnny Newman. We'll try to even the series with the Boston Celtics, followed by Game 4 of Portland and Utah. The Jazz up 2-1 after last night's win. Thurl Bailey led the Jazz last night with 39 points. The best teams in the NBA are in the playoffs. We'll show you why with the best plays of the month when the Prudential Halftime Report continues. All-rookie team. 14 different players received votes, but there was one unanimous choice. New York's Mark Jackson. Jackson broke Oscar Robertson's rookie assist record with an average of 10.6. He's joined on the all-rookie team by Armin Gilliam of Phoenix, Kenny Smith of Sacramento, Greg Anderson of San Antonio, and Eric McKee of Seattle. The votes are also in for our April plays of the month. As teams battled for playoff position, the action was often centered on physical play under the basket. But it was also a month where spectacular passing and sensational individual moves stood out. Milwaukee's in the playoffs for the 9th straight year. Paul Pressey shows he has eyes in the back of his head. Seattle's Dale Ellis led the Sonics in scoring, proving he can score with either hand. Not to be outdone, Dallas's Mark Aguirre, a shot that could put you on the bench unless it goes in. And there's always a little magic when the Lakers are in town. Irvin Johnson on the fast break to James Worthy. New York's Mark Jackson, worthy of Rookie of the Year honors, with a great pass to Patrick Ewing. And as you know, Boston's Larry Bird does it all. He seems to have a sixth sense for those around him. And what's a highlight tape without Michael Jordan? Last but not least, Isaiah Thomas of Detroit fakes a pass to himself, dishes off to John Sally. Another look as Isaiah pays the price for faking out Charles Barkley.
It's time for the Gatorade Slam Dunk.
And it is. Watch Smith slam this baby. Otis Smith.
Another Gatorade Slam Dunk.
14 points in the opening quarter. The Dallas Mavericks have stormed back. They now have a 2-point lead at intermission. The 14 points, just 2 off the all-time record low in a playoff game, 12 set by Milwaukee. Meanwhile, another game going on, Cleveland and Chicago. Now, the Cleveland Cavs are winning this ball game 55-43. Chicago won the first 2 games in Chicago. Cleveland came back to win Game 3. They're trying to force a 5th game, which will be played Sunday in Chicago. Michael Jordan is averaging 48 points a game in the series. He already already has 22 at intermission, but his Chicago Bulls are behind. Cleveland won 11 of their last 13 regular season games. They finished above 500 for the first time since 1978. So this team has entered the playoffs with a lot of momentum. Meanwhile, Chicago won 19 of their last 26. They finished above 500 for the first time since 1981. Here's a look at the playoff brackets as they stand right now. New York winning last night, trying to win again Friday to force a fifth game. We will see that game tomorrow night at this time. Milwaukee and Atlanta will also be playing Friday night. Milwaukee on the home court trying to even the series. Detroit falling behind at Washington last night. They are now even that series, 2 games apiece. They'll play game 5 in Detroit to see who will advance. And Cleveland and Chicago, as we mentioned, the Chicago Bulls winning the first 2 games, but then Cleveland coming back. Cleveland with the lead right now. They're ready to start the second half. Let's go to Jim Durham and Johnny Kerr with the call.
In the first half tonight, Cleveland shot 55% from the floor, 24 of 44. The Bulls less than 40%, 396 on 19 out of 48. And the Cavaliers thoroughly out-rebounded the Bulls, 28-17. Turnovers, Cleveland with 9, the Bulls with 4, and in close, of course, as you would expect, the Cavs much more productive, 36 points to 23. Interesting statistic. The Bulls had 5 steals in the first half. The Bulls didn't exactly just fall down, I mean, roll over and play dead. They put forth tremendous effort. They just didn't get any results.
That's right, Jim. They only had 3 turnovers in the game, but on the bench, they really had a problem. But Michael Jordan was 9 out of 14, shooting 64%. The others 10 out of 34, 29%. And the bench, as I mentioned, they got 10 points off their bench. The Bulls with only 6. Sellers will put it in play. Jimmy, you're Mike.
Bulls work at the length of the floor. Sam Vincent brings it up. Vincent into the front court, guarded by Price. Vincent out between the circles, a straight-up dribble. Takes it right side into Corzine, low right. Corzine through the double team, comes traveling on Corzine as he made the dribble across the lane. So Cleveland comes back with a 12-point lead. Price comes into the front court. Price off to the right. On the move against Vincent. Dumps it into Doherty. The hook shot. Goaltending on Oakley's block. Doherty gets the bucket. Brad Doherty with 14. They shoot so well. And the Bulls have helped him blocking 3 shots.
What are you doing that near the rim
for goaltending? 57-43. Cleveland up 14. 11:28 left in the third. Wide right is Sellers. Sanders backs off. Brad Sellers gives to Vincent out top of the circle. Vincent swings it left to Corzine. 5 on the shot clock. Long jumper, no good by Corzine, and Ron Harper the rebound. Here's Price pushing it on the drive. His pass tipped out of bounds by Sellers. He tried to hit Sanders on the wing on the left.
Bulls end up with long shots, and
Sanders comes inbounds to Harper in the left corner. Out front is Price. Right corner shot, Sanders. Rimming no. Sam Vincent, the Bulls rebound. Sam hustles it up on the drive, takes it off to the right side, shoots under pressure, and hits the shot from the right baseline. His first 2 points of the game. Here's Harper, quick comeback for the dunk, and Cleveland keeps the 14-point lead. Ron Harper ran the floor and jammed with the right hand. Ron Harper with 10 points tonight. 59-45 Cavaliers. 10.
The Cavaliers, we mentioned, coming into the playoffs with a lot of momentum. They nearly won a game in Chicago. They're trying to even the series. But let's go back to Dallas and Houston. Pete Van Weeren and Don Nelson.